Hey everybody, welcome to week 3 of our spring life group session. This week, before you get started, I want to remind you of a couple of important resources that we have created for our life groups ministry. The first is found at yourfountain.info. If you forgot your life group homework sheet or you need another copy, simply go to our website, yourfountain.info, and you can click on the Discover link, and there you will find links to this week's homework session as well as the videos for this particular week. Second, I want to remind you that we also have a YouTube channel, and you can find that at yourfountain.org/YouTube. This is an important channel or website for the church because it includes all of the videos that we use week to week. And so if at any point you are not able to be with us on a Sunday or you want to watch the video for the life groups ahead of time, you can go out to that particular channel and use that as a way to help prepare you for your sessions. Well, this past Sunday, we continued in our series on Jonah. And as we continued to talk about the story of Jonah, we moved into a portion of this story in which Jonah has fled from the presence of the Lord, but now has to deal with the consequences of those actions. As he begins to flee from God's presence, he goes into the ship and then falls asleep. A storm begins to come upon the ship, and suddenly the sailors, who were, of course, professionals and used to storms, become very, very afraid. They wake him up, and then begins to ask him what's going on. And eventually they figure out that he has fled from the presence of the Lord. And he tells them that he is a Hebrew and one who believes in the God of all creation. This leads them to a very difficult moment in which they try to save the ship and they try to save Jonah, but by the end have to choose to make the fateful decision of casting him overboard. And as I look at this story, one of the verses that's to me is key is Jonah chapter 1 and in verse 9. Because it's in verse 9 that we read this. We read these words. It says, "And he says to them, I am a Hebrew, and I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." And immediately following this, they become exceedingly fearful because they recognize that Jonah serves the living God. Well, this week within your life groups, you're going to be able to examine this story at a little bit deeper level and examine questions which are going to cause you to stop and think about this story and once again apply it to your lives. Because not only have we at times chosen to turn away from God, we've also had to deal with the consequences of those decisions. And so tonight, as you begin to talk about this story and re-examine the details of it, I want to encourage you to think about your own life and to apply what is taking place within Jonah's life to your own. As you do so, I also want to challenge you on this point and to begin to think about this story at a little deeper level. Finally, before you wrap up and finish your group, I want you to take a moment to speak with your life group leader. Life group leaders, we would love to, on this particular week, find out who is planning to stay with your group throughout this session. We recognize that sometimes people will come to sessions and want to try out new groups, but if your group plans to stay together, we would appreciate if you could send to us a final copy of the names of the people who plans to be with you throughout this session. If you could once again send that information to Steve Enix, and his email address is steve@yourfountain.org, we would greatly appreciate it. With those things in mind, we hope you have a great week and a great session together, and we'll see you on Sunday.